Live, everybody. Good afternoon, good morning, good whatever it is, wherever you are. I don't know if Australian John is joining us. Happy middle of the night if you are in that hemisphere. We are live and we are global, we are international, and I love being here. And I know I said last Friday that I wouldn't be on here today, but I can't resist. Plans changed a bit, things got pushed. We're leaving later in the day, so I said, hey, if I got a chance to be here live with you, oh my gosh, I'm going to take it. So thrilled to be here with you. It is December the 8th. And so happy holidays and all that to those of you who are in the throes of celebration. I I saw Kate was here first. She's pumped for this live. So Kate, good to see you. And then I went to fill my coffee cup, and the chat's blowing up here. Look, I missed so much. Now, Cantor Mark is kicking things off with Scamalama Ding Dong, which is absolutely wonderful. Thank you for a little jingle, literally, to kick off this live today. Uh, we are here to talk about the question of the week. Is this inquiry a scam? And that does come up a lot. In fact, we were doing members only office hours, Unboring Wedding Academy members and pro members. We do live office hours, so kind of like a bit of a private get together once a month, the last Tuesday of every month, typically. But hey, it's been a bit crazy, so we just had it this last Tuesday. And April said, hey, I think I'm being scammed. I think someone's doing a check thing. And I see in the Facebook group, Wedding Officiants of America on Facebook. It's open to officiants and celebrants. So if you're not a member of that, Donna's group is very welcoming. So jump on in there. And I do see a lot of screenshots and things about people saying, is this a scam? Am I being scammed? So I want to talk about, first of all, drop in the chat if you have gotten one of these weird scam attempts. Now, this is a safe place. If you do want to confess, because there is a bit of a stigma around, getting scammed. People feel like some shame around if they got tricked. So I do want to just talk about the big scam that is out there for wedding officiants. We are targeted with a very specific kind of scam, and it is pretty widespread, pretty easy to recognize once you know what's going on. Scammers like to take advantage of people's kind side, the better angels of their nature, I think the saying goes. And so a lot of times that's how you get scammed, is by saying, I'm going to go ahead and do this nice thing for this person who's stuck. And then I want to share with you my one guaranteed silver bullet. You'll never get scammed if you follow a rigorous procedure when it comes to making bookings. And it is similar to what I said last week and also in the live, not about this particular topic, but never choose the most expedient or expeditious way of booking a couple. That really makes you vulnerable, not just to maybe the kind of client that you're going to work with, that you're going to say, oh my gosh, I don't think this is my kind of client, but also flat out to scammers. And if you're careful and stick to your proven process, that I would just like to kind of spell out here, outline. Those of you who are in Unboring Wedding Pro, you know my process, and I've talked about it before, but it really is, like I said, the way to make yourself scam proof. So that's coming up in just a couple minutes, but I do want to say hello to everybody. Candace, member of Unboring Wedding Academy, here watching in Lexington, Michigan. Samuel is here. Good afternoon in snowy northern Michigan. So, man, we got Michigan representing right off the bat. Samuel and Candace, hello. Sandra's here from beginning to end. Going to the driving range. Were you golfing last time, I think, on a live as well? I'm super jealous. You say it's freezing. You're going to the driving range. Are you hitting into snow? Because I'm looking outside my window here at a very white scene. There is no golfing. We are going to have to wait until spring. But again, having just been in Vegas at the Westgate, looking out every day at people golfing in November, it did maybe a bit jealous. I was jonesing to be there. So so Sandra, it's freezing, but I'm a bit jealous. You get to go to the driving range. Lisa's here. Season's greetings from LMC Wedding Officiant. Good to see you. And Mark here is also hoping that there's no meltdown. Mark, I'm with you on that. I'm a little bit scarred. I was feeling very secure in the tech, but there was that time last week where just everything unplugged. I think it was last Friday when I was talking about, something a little bit sensitive. What do you do when you don't think a couple should get married? And just everything melted down. I got signed out. It really was a bizarre, it wasn't even the internet. It was a real classic tech situation. John's here from Mississauga. I'm your wedding guy. Happy Friday. Good to see you. And April's here. April in Boston. So awesome. Good to see you. You know, I love Boston. You're just 5 hours down the road. Bonnie's here from Nashville. So many members of Academy. Sabra's here. Thank you for your Bonjoro back, Sabra. Good to see you in here. And of course, I got to share dinner with you at Wedding MBA in Vegas. So good to see you here live. Top of the morning from Des Moines, Iowa, USA, represented. Oh yeah, USA is heavily represented here. No worries about that. But representing Iowa, well done. Sabrina made it. Okay, April's in the middle of a possible scam right now. That is scary. I get a bit heebie-jeebies to hear you say that. I'm curious about how you can be in the middle of a scam. December 16th, that's coming up. April, I really hope you pay attention to those red flags. I think it was you who mentioned in the chat in the members only that you think maybe you're being scammed. It wasn't April. I think that was you, though. And Sabra's here from Michigan, of course. I should say that because Michigan that's three. It's at least three Michiganites here. Michigonians. How do you say Michigese? All right. That's my body is rejecting what I'm doing right now. So I shouldn't have had some corn tortilla chips right before going live. There's clearly still some residue. But anyway, let's talk a bit here. Hey, Charlie. Charlie from the Jersey Shore. Good to see you here. And Kristen from Farmington Hills, Michigan. Are you kidding me? What? Are you guys just making it up that you're all from Michigan? Glad to be here. I should have just gone to Michigan today, clearly, and done this from there. Michiganders. I would never have guessed that. Is that right? I don't know. Is Candace... Are you just saying another thing? We are Michiganders. There you go. Thank you. I learned something today. Now I can just sign off and say, hey, I learned the thing today. Every day you should learn something new. What is a scam? What does it look like? There is one. Mark's here from Rochester Hills too. I can't even believe this. This is wild. Welcome, Michigan. And to everyone else, you can listen from the periphery. It's me and the Michiganders today, and the rest of us. Okay. Oh, Nashville, Tennessee is here. Good to see you, Londi. There is a certain kind of scam that you will get and I did some research recently because I was so curious about how does it work. Yes, we're used to people getting your private information and hacking and maybe kind of blunt forcing their way at stealing your bank pin or something like that. But this is such a bizarre process, like a garden path, that right away you will get a sense that this is a scam. And I really think, again, scammers take advantage of how kind you are, how serving you are, that you will help. Sometimes they will also take advantage of desperation, a sense of oh my gosh, I've got a live one here. I've got a client who wants to book me, who's super interested in me, who's very complimentary of me. That is a feature. And really seems into me, and this is potential income. And when you're trying to make a living and book clients, then of course you're pulled in a bit. So the way it works is you will get an email of somebody saying, hi there, are you available on this date? The language might be a bit strange, but hey, let's face it, we all get, inquiries that look like they were dictated from somebody's phone, all in lowercase with no punctuation. Okay, so that might not be the red flag that it once was. Like, oh well, the English might not be that great, or the punctuation might not be that great. So you can't really use that as a criteria. But they will say, hey there, we'd like to get married on this date. We're super flexible. That's usually a thing. We can get married this date or this date. We're so interested in you that we want to we want to work with you so bad that we'll work our way around you. And so, of course, you're super interested. You message back, and then typically they will email back, and you might say something like, "Let's have a chat," or "Give me some more specifics." The reply, if not the first email, will typically say that the person writing, and let's just say the scammer, is on a business trip, really busy, just can't meet right now, but wants to pay you. Now, so there's the thing, right? Is you're like, how can this be a scam? Because they want to pay me. Like they want to pay the deposit so bad. Like, how can it be a scam when they're the ones sending me money? Well, the trick is, of course, that this is done through credit card payments. So they will say, super busy, I'm traveling, usually Texas for some reason. What is it about the scammers who feel like, oh, Texas, when you're in Texas, you don't have time for anything. Maybe Austin's just such a great city of music and food that you just want to pay your wedding vendor and be done with it. But that'll be a feature. The person is traveling, and I'm wondering, Sabra said, I think you said you've gotten so many of these yeah, it's not surprising. You'll see this kind of cookie cutter format. And right away, when somebody's saying, oh, I can't talk to you, but please charge me, that to me is the first flag. And then they will say something like, okay, the second flag will be that they want you to overcharge them, and then they will send you so here's how it works. Okay, so I'm having a hard time keeping it straight. They want you to charge them. They will pay you on the credit card, and then can you reimburse them some money because they want you to. When you say it out loud, it's ridiculous. There's always a feature where they want to pay other vendors, uh, but those vendors, like a caterer, for example, don't take credit cards. And so they are asking to pay you more than your fee. And then can you send them a check for, like, it's usually not much, which also is weird when we're talking weddings. But they'll say, okay, if your fee is $1,000, Mark, can you charge us 1,500? Okay, and so you're like, oh, this is they're asking more than my fee, which is fine. So charge us 1,500, Mark, and we will send you. And then can you please send us the 500? To make it even, to make up the difference. Then when you send us the 2, 3, it's usually small, like really small, 2, 3, 500. We just want to pay for a deli plate or something. And sometimes they will pick a vendor in your area. They've done a little bit of research, uh, but right away, a vendor that doesn't use a credit card is like, well, that's strange. And so if you agree to this, okay, you following? They want you to overcharge them on your credit card, and they say we will happily pay it. And so now you're thinking, where's the scam? They are overpaying, and then you pay them just $200, $300, $400. Where's the risk? Because apparently they did pay. If they paid your full fee up front, they're going to be out money, right? Well, no. This is where the scam kicks in after the transactions are underway. Typically, they are using a stolen credit card or a credit card that they will cancel. A credit card where they will cancel the fee or it won't go through, but it will look like it went through initially. So if I charge them 1,500, I will check and see that it went through. Again, you're like, I'm up 1,000, 1,100. I'm just going to send them the $400 now that they need for their caterer, because their caterer did not take credit card, and I'm going to help them out. I'm going to do them a solid. I'm a kind person. And so you send the money transfer of $400, and you think, great, again, I'm up $1,100 or whatever it is. Well, Then you're going to find out that the credit card was stolen or not valid somehow. That is going to be charged back. It's going to be that transaction is going to be canceled. And hey, but lo and behold, guess what? That money order that you sent, $300, $400, $500, again, they're usually going for volume, not a massive amount of money, but hey, $200, $300, $400, $500 being scammed out of that can be pretty devastating. That will have gone through no problem, and they will disappear. That is, in a nutshell, how this overcharge scam, it's called, works. And service providers like us, like wedding officiants, wedding vendors in particular, are targeted by this. Now, you might think that's so ridiculous and lame. How could anybody fall for that? Well, um, it's successful enough, apparently, that it has become so ubiquitous that it seems to be working. And I think it works because of how tempting it is to have somebody say, I just want to pay you. I just want to book you. I love you. You're amazing. I'm too busy to even bother you with an initial consult. And I'm so confident that you're so great that I don't even need to meet you. So there is that massive ego stroking that happens that I said, totally unrelated, earlier this week and last week, and I say it all the time. When you choose the path that is most expedient when you're doing a booking, you are opening yourself up to a world of hurt and a world of regret down the line. As I said, either you're working with a client that's not right for you, you never met them, the chemistry is off, expectations weren't great, or the worst end of the spectrum here is you get full on scammed because you took money from somebody that you didn't meet, and then the credit card went dark. Okay, so now that you're up to date on the scam, and I'd be interested if in the chat anybody has heard or been attempted at any other different kinds of scams. Typically, again, they're going to want some information from you, but again, some of them are so obvious that hey there, just give me all your banking info, and of course we're going to say no. So don't ever give out any banking info. But this one, I needed to go and research, like, what is it, how is it, and that's why I think so many people are so willing to do it. How does overcharging me, how can I possibly be scammed by that when I'm getting more money on my credit card than they are entitled to? Well, again, it all happens afterwards. So it's like, oh, that's where the penny dropped. So of course, don't give out any information, banking info. Wire transfers can be super sketchy. But of course, if you're thinking all along the way of, hey, I'm going to be up money here, my bank account's going to be bigger than when we started, then let's go for it. Okay, so now I do want to move on to, like, hey, how to make sure this just 100% never happens, and can happen. But I want to see what I'm missing in the chat, because it looks like I'm missing a lot here. The hangman, I'm going to put this up here, says, I'm in Florida, recently approached from a woman who wanted me to officiate a wedding in Florida. The groom is from Dubai. After much conversation, she admitted she agreed to be his green card babe. Okay, so is that, I'm not sure if that's like a scam or if that is just an interesting situation that you can decide whether or not to marry them. I wonder about, like, the legality of that in Florida, but I know this stuff does happen. People, the green card babe, okay, they're not in love, etc., etc. Sounds like you did some homework. Would that be considered a scam? I'm really wondering about that. Or is that just a perfectly legal loophole kind of thing where somebody wants a green card and will pay this babe $5,000, $10,000? This is a question of integrity, perhaps. You have to decide whether or not you want to be a person who gets involved with that. I wonder if you can lose your online ordination, or your license for that. That's one of those ethical questions, as opposed. It's funny because I talked about this last week when, I don't want to jinx this, when the plug got pulled. We were talking about illegal activity, unethical activity, or just personal discomfort activity. This might fall somewhere in one of those. We have a comment here that says, "Mine always only want to pay by check." Oh, the scammers! They ask you your full name and address. I tell them I don't accept checks. I haven't gotten past the check part to see what they want. Yeah, so that's good. I would say don't continue. Don't keep going just to satisfy your curiosity, unless again there are epic Reddit threads of people who, of course, end up scamming the scammers or just wasting their time. Hey, if that's a way that you want to, if you want to spend 3 hours doing that instead of watching Oppenheimer or Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny or binging on your favorite TV show, that's your business. But yeah, there is a lot of check scamming. I think it is really smart to say, I don't accept checks. Just that seems to have lots of red flags. Maybe some of you do accept checks, but I've never taken a check. To me, there's you want the paper trail. You want even the ability for people like to cancel a chargeback, that kind of thing. I just think if you're gonna do payment, I've always only done credit card. Canadians don't have Venmo. We do have Interac e-transfer. But just for the reporting and the convenience, I do like to do credit card and always have. I use a plugin on my site called Gravity Forms, and that's connected to Stripe. So April here, I think, is this the one you're discussing? The couple claims to be out of the country. The groom says he's a captain in the Navy station in Iraq. The bride is in the UK and unreachable. They're both due to be in Boston on the 10th. Yeah, that's interesting. So you're just kind of like playing this out, April, I guess, seeing where it goes. Obviously, if they land and meet you and give you money, that is different. But this will be my segue into just the one thing you do to ensure you're never tricked by a scammer. Uh, let's see. Sabrina says you live in Texas, not traveling. I got one scammer when I was traveling in Florida. How excellent that you are in our state. Yeah, I love. So a lot of these scammers will say, "Hey, where are you located? We want to get married. Where are you located?" I mean, what couple would ever do that, right? And scammers, I guess, are playing on this. Oh, well, it's possible the 1% of the time this couple might, hey, we want to get married. Where are you located? That's not how it works. Couples look for an officiant near them, especially when we're dealing with legal stuff like that. Tamara says there are lots of scammers out there. This is helpful. Yeah, I wanted to bring to your attention the most common one, the overcharge scam, because I don't even know. Like I said, I was like, where's the catch? Because getting overpaid on your credit card sounds amazing. Well, that charge is not going to go through. April says he's insisting on paying by check. He has become annoyed with me because I require too much information. There you go. Yeah, that's yeah. Too much. You require too much information. That's a hard no. Good job, April. Hey, let that one sail into the sunset. Live from the ski slopes. Oh my gosh, and in Massachusetts, Paul. That's absolutely amazing. I wish I were skiing today. There's probably enough on the hills somewhere in New Brunswick or Maine. But here I am instead with you and having a great time. I'm much warmer anyway. Here's how to ensure you're never tricked. And this is something that I was trepidatious going into business. If you know my story, I knew nothing. English lit degree, theology and ancient languages guy, never done business, never been exposed to business. Knew I was onto something with wedding officiating and unboring weddings. And that's where I just decided, hey, in order to get my ideal client and never worry about getting scammed or not working with the person I want to work with, let alone a scammer, I will always have a chem check. I don't care if it's a quick signing. I don't care what it is. I want to meet the person beforehand. Now, I know a lot of you do, quick signings and you want to do lots of those every day and you only charge $200. The scene in the United States may be different with troops deploying and benefits to be had if there's a spouse and that kind of thing. So that's where there is a susceptibility. But at least, like April said, touch base. You need to get on the phone with somebody and verify that way. So my process, of course, is when I get any sort of inquiry, and if it's a scammer, they won't get very far because right away I will say, that's great. Let's set up a chem check. I talk with every couple before accepting any money from them. That's where the scammer will begin to object. Like April said, oh, well, what do you mean? Why do you need so much? No, I just, because I want to meet you. I want you to vet me because I want to work with, I want to be right for you. And I want to hear about your wedding day. Well, a scammer is not going to be interested in getting on there and discussing with you a beautiful wedding day that's never going to happen. So that is an integral part of that chem check. And so, of course, if for some reason you did get past that, the chem check, the scammer was really committed and in character, and you had the chem check and really hit it off, and then sent them your credit card, the link where they could pay with their credit card. Of course, the other way to protect yourself is not to do the listen. Okay, I've got this baker, our wedding cake. They don't accept credit cards, so can you please? I mean, come on, that's you're not gonna fall for that at all. But the real simple short answer, which is why I could kind of play it so close to the bottom of the hour, because I like to keep these to 30 minutes so it's not onerous for you, is meet with everybody or get on the phone with everybody and have them describe exactly what they want. Okay. And a scammer won't know how to discuss this. So even if somebody says, we want to meet you at the Dunkin' Donuts in Lincoln Park at this date, and the two of us will be there for the signing at this time, et cetera, et cetera. And if you take the 50% down payment or retainer or however you want to say it for that, worst case scenario, you got paid up front and then it will not go through and then you will not show up at Dunkin' Donuts, right? So this is another case of whenever you accept any money, that's where the retainer fee, I think, is really important, because you don't want to go to Dunkin' Donuts in Lincoln Park and be stood up or find up it's a no-show. That's another way that credit card really works out. Or hey, if you do a cash transaction, do it ahead of time. Charge half of the fee ahead of time, and that will also make people go away. So how to ensure you're never tricked? Do a chem check. Meet with them on the phone or on Zoom, or in person. For a bigger wedding, I always encourage a couple to meet with me. And then, as I said, part of your non-negotiable is a 50% upfront retainer fee before there's any business at all. And that means they're signing a contract at that same time. So on my website, you have to read the contract and check a box on my intake form before I accept any money from you. You need to have accepted something. Now, again, a scammer is going to go past that, but you're not going to be able to they're not going to be able to pay you more than you ask for. So if you just follow that, meet with every couple and charge a retainer and make sure it's 50% and it's only what you ever charge anyone, then worst case scenario, the credit card payment doesn't go through and nothing happened to you. You didn't overcharge, you didn't send any money, there was no checks involved, that kind of thing. And especially for a wire transfer, if you say, okay, yeah, Venmo me 50%, well, they're going to get squeamish about that and start doing some funny stuff. So just never deviate from that process. I've never been scammed, and I've never entertained scammers. I don't even reply. This is a case where you might think, oh, I need to be super polite. I mean, scammers are going to want to keep, once you're on the line, they're going to keep going with it. And so I just think it's okay to just end the correspondence by saying, I'm not available on your date. That's it. I'm just not available. And we've talked about this many times. You can do that for just about you can always say, I'm just not available. We talked about that last week when I said, what if you think, you don't want to work with a couple, you think they shouldn't get married? That was a very complex subject. It took 2 parts, in fact, due to a tech meltdown. But it was the same where I said, you can just say, I'm no longer available on your date. That will often mean a refund. I've just done this when I got called to Montana to teach notaries how to officiate weddings. They contacted me 6 months ahead of time, and I did have a wedding. But I said I don't want to miss that, and I don't want to leave my couple high and dry. So I fully refunded them. I set them up with a replacement officiant. Everything was great. You are fully within your rights, especially if it's written in your contract. I recommend you put it in there. you can say, I'm not available, and then there's no harm, no foul at the end of the process. But that is a way to cover your butt and make sure you're not scammed. And now hopefully you have a bit of understanding. I like I say, in order to wrap my head around this scam, I really had to sit and think about it. And I think it is complexity of it and the initial fluffing that you get of your ego. Wow, they really think I'm great. They really want to work with me. They want to send me. Oh, and they want me to do a kind thing. This is my chance to help out people. That's just all wrong. But you can see why it works. Okay, Paul says Bitcoin. I don't know. What would it be? I don't know about Bitcoin. Maybe Paul, you can be a trendsetter. I know a lot of people, a lot of businesses are moving that way. Open your Coinbase account, and I haven't gotten into it personally. Maybe I'll regret that 5 years from now. Yeah, Natalie says I'd love to scam the scammer. Yeah, but I won't. Hey, like I said, it's your business what you do in your free time. I think it can be quite entertaining. Like I say, if you just go on Reddit and look at scam threads, I mean, there are just some real doozies in there. I feel this is out of left field, but I just thought about. I don't know if anybody here has heard the novel 419. I think it's a Canadian novel. It is a fantastic novel about kind of that Nigerian prince scam stuff. But the emails that were huge. I don't know how many years ago, 419. Everybody kind of that was kind of the shorthand for this scam where somebody needed your help from Nigeria, and they would, they were a prince or something. They would send you a lot of money. You would send them. It was similar to what I just described to you. But the 419 novel is amazing because the character ends up going to Nigeria and, of course, seeing the devastation that the oil companies caused there in that country. And it really was a question of like, who has scammed who? That's a spoiler alert, but it's a really, really great, really great read. While we're talking about scams, it's just one of those books that always stays with you. Let me see. April says, just following Unboring wedding steps has protected me. So that's absolutely great. Money coming out of your mouth. That's what we want to see. Good. Yeah, just follow that proven process. You will never, ever get scammed because there's too many walls for the scammer to bump into. And as April said, they're starting to get mad at you. Well, they're mad at you because you're asking for information. A scammer is not going to be interested in going into, and like I say, in the chem check, you sit down with your couple, tell me about your day. Where is it? Typically, they have their venue and they love talking about their vision for the day. I don't think a scammer is going to know how to do that, care to do that. And so they'll just be utterly unequipped to pass that step. But when you, of course, you have a real couple, that's where you start to bond with them. So that first step of the chem check is always, tell me about your day. What are you envisioning? Is it a small wedding, a big wedding? Just get them talking about the venue, indoor, outdoor. Is it, maybe the venue. It's really fun to relate to a couple on that level right off the bat on the chem check. Paul says, "Thank goodness for long lift rides." Yeah. So, am I in your ear as you go down the slopes, Paul? Careful. You and Kirsty skiing while listening to lives. That's awesome. Let's see. Deborah says, hit the button, y'all. Only 8? What, 8? Let's see. I would consider any overpayment my tip. Yeah, except, again, April, the overpayment, none of it's going to go through. So just be careful. It sounds like you know what's what now. Florida, the laws say being a green card babe is illegal. Okay, interesting. It bypasses U.S. immigration laws. Okay, well, see, thrilled that you know that. And this is the hangman is something that is obviously you know your stuff. That is very, very important. So good for you. You definitely want to know your laws. So it bypasses immigration. That's excellent. I did not know that, but again, it's state by state. That's great. Oh, your cousin got scammed by a Nigerian guy. 10K. Wowzers. That is really something. And so this is what I'm saying. It's not unheard of. And that's why that novel was just so good. Okay, so we are at the bottom of the hour. Hopefully that was helpful. Anybody have any other questions? I usually like to give a 30-second to 1 minute warning on, if you have any other questions that might get me cranked up or something I can answer real quick. But other than that, I found this very informative because I learned Michiganders. I learned in Florida you can't be a green card babe or, uh, yeah, whatever the other term would be. I'm sure there's like a formal expression. That's an expression, but you cannot just take money, I guess, and marry somebody to get them a green card. So yeah, stay away from checks if you can. And thanks everybody for jumping in here. As I said, I just love being on here. If you see a lot of wonderful people in the chat referring to Unboring Wedding Academy, you can come on in, unboringweddingacademy.com, then get your personal email invite. I will say this month is going to be your last opportunity to get the course for $297 at your leisure. I did experiment a bit this year with kind of lifting the wall. It's typically regular price $597, and there was a limited time to get the course for $297. But with the addition of the Love Story caster and just that value and how it's holding up, there will be kind of a shorter window once again, where when you join my list, you get a couple weeks to get it at that sale price. So this was kind of an extended 2023 price, but now we've got the value, the Love Story caster, and all that in there. So jump on it while you can. Become a member because there are so many amazing people here in the chat. I love the Unboring Wedding community. People jumping into pro, building their careers, officiating professionally, and so I absolutely love this community. And like I say, we do office hours once a month. But I do love coming on here every Friday and sharing this time with you. So, Katie, thank you. Had no idea about this. Watch out for it. Good. Absolutely. Thank you, Bonnie. Worth every penny. Well, I'm thrilled to be on this journey with you. April, I'm glad you're not successfully being scammed. It sounds like you're keeping your options open because this couple sounds a bit weird, but you stopped communicating with them. Hey, I'm traveling right now and I'm too busy. That is one of those big flags, April, that I think you can corroborate here as well. That, oh, guess what? They're traveling and they're too busy. That's a thing. So they seem to know that you're not. They seem to know the drill as well. That you can't get scammed when you jump on a video call or a phone call, or better yet, in person, and start building that rapport right away. Scammers have no interest in that. They're going to try to do it as quickly and expediently as possible, which again, when we don't meet their demands for expediency, we're really, really protecting ourselves. Let's see. Selena says, I didn't get a deposit or retainer, and both of my people canceled for December. Okay, so that's interesting. You didn't get a deposit or retainer. And that's a case where, again, get that deposit, get that retainer. Yeah, you might get ghosted, but as you build your practice with reviews and word of mouth and photos of you officiating, I know, Selena, you're building. You will have that cred. You will have people wanting to book you more. But yeah, nothing is locked in. And I tell my couples this when we end our chemistry check, even if they say, Mark, we're so excited to work with you. And I say, yes, me too. I'm so thrilled. It will be the retainer that locks that in and makes me all yours. And until then, the date is, it's not a sure thing. So just make sure you kind of take that approach. Let's see, how long is the deadline for the special rate? But Selena, aren't you a member of Unboring Wedding Academy? So I'm thinking in January like I said, the price will be $597 once again, as it always was. For people jumping onto the list, there'll be a special invite for 2 weeks, say, to purchase at $297. And then, of course, there will be typically I do a spring sale and a Black Friday sale. But that is the plan for 2024. Okay. Oh, you need Pro. Okay. Well, Pro is available. Definitely reach out to me. There is a grad discount, of course, if you're a member of Academy. So reach out to me for that. I do like to help out anybody who is inside Academy. Take the price down a little bit of Pro for special members who have gone through Unboring Wedding Academy and members of that. Thank you, Craig. Craig, always an honor to have you here, just crushing it in the GTA. And thank you for being a part of this journey. Natalie says you get a chance to use your spiel again tomorrow morning. My goodness, Natalie, you are booking those chem checks and crushing it. So, man, it has been so fun to be on the journey with you. And that's why I love what I do. I love watching you guys blow up, and much success to you continuing in 2024. Planning on being here next week because I can't help myself and I enjoyed so much. So have a great week. Until then, thanks everybody, and marry on.